welcome everyone to the pilot episode, the first episode of the independent R&B.
Technically, it's not the first episode.
The independent RnBCrypto.
Yes, there it is.
The wrecked and broke crypto.
The wrecked and broke RnBCrypto.
Breevie and I have been teaming up after the aftermath of what was the most epic downfall in crypto history. We will get into it, but thank you everyone for tuning in. If any settings are off, I apologize. I'm still getting used to some new setup here, but Breevie, good to be speaking with you. What's new?
Yo, it's good to be speaking with you too, Rick. I mean, the thing of the day to me is Luna 2.0, my friend. So have you been? Let me rephrase this. Have you been watching the pump as it's been happening?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you were still gonna be like, you know, on fuck Luna wave or where you're at in mindset after completely getting wrecked.
It's one of those things. It's been tough. I mean, it's like. Well, first off, Do Kwon's back to being Do again, which I don't think should surprise anyone, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also like I got airdropped this thing, so why wouldn't I at least pay attention to it? I'm not. I mean, we're gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. This is not financial advice, 'cause I had some opinions out here, but I'm not putting a cent in this thing for like forever. I'm not putting a cent in Luna 2.0 for at least until we have like further clarity down the line, you know?
Yeah. So my mindset is, again, not financial advice.
Please do not.
We are here to come and discuss crypto things. We are not financial advisors in any way. What a creative way this is to have a NFA notice, right? We're just like talking about it mid-sentence.
Yeah.
You guys didn't even know that you're getting NFAs.
Yeah. I mean, we both saw our bags go to zero in
oh god, yes.
Very short amount of time. There I was like, mine was being staked, and I was like, all happy. I'm like, you know, I wasn't on leverage. I was so proud. I'm like, well, within 12 hours, it was pennies.
Dude, what a like interesting like story that is, where it's like Monday, you're, you know, all hopes are there. You're like, oh man, you know, we got a meeting with the TCTV, I don't know why I can't say that. Anyway, Terra Money TV,
right?
Talking about forming the DAO, and there's all these fantastic projects coming out on the horizon. There's all these projects already building, absolutely killing it. We had already had the May market crash last year, so like in our heads we're like, oh, it's a crash, you know, whatever, you know, shit's fine. But I think it was crazy for me because one, I had COVID, so yeah. I was already just
that was
like
rough.
Had a crazy fever, already was just like completely delirious in every way. So so when I see a message from and I was supposed to be at this meeting, but I told Rick to slide just because. I just couldn't. I was delirious.
No, man, you were sick. Like
I was fucked up.
You were fever treatment at that point.
And so it's crazy when Rick DM'd me, he's like, "Oh, like the meeting went great, but it's over.
We're going to zero." It was a good meeting, but we're all broke.
Exactly. We're all fucked. Holy shit. And then, dude, in my complete deliriousness, I'm looking at the phone. I just see UST at like 40 cents. I'm like, is this real? Like,
am I hallucinating this? Like,
yeah, am I hallucinating this? Is this complete free fall? And then there was we must defend the peg, release the Bitcoin.
No, please don't do that. Like,
get wrecked even further.
Man, it was just ugly.
I love our resiliency in that we can laugh about these matters now.
Yeah, I'm glad I am, but it's really unfortunate reading some of the stories out there from some of the people, and
Yeah.
like there's a whole like ethical and moral framework that I really don't like feel like I can personally speak on, but
Yeah.
it's just man. And then unfortunately, I think a lot of these people are being shepherded by some not naming names here, but by figures in the community who are like trying offering basically restitution or whatever, and it's like, man,
Mhm.
these processes aren't an overnight fix. I mean,
Yeah.
he's putting people. What should we call this individual? Fat man.
Batman.
It's Fat Man Terra. I mean, that's who it is. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't trust what's coming out of that. I don't trust anything coming out of this whole mess. Like we got a long way to go here, I think, and then we're still in like the early days of the $60 billion don't just go away and in a whisper. Things like this take a while to clear out.
Dude, exactly. And that's why I was confused on like all these people just wanting all of this shit like immediately. You're like, dude, you gotta calm the fuck down. Like
Yeah.
this shit just happens. Like obviously there was really, of course, no plan for this because I don't know, we were in a good place as far as a lot of folks will say that the lunatic community slash Luna weren't listening. We were in this echo chamber where, we just thought we were the shit. But we were listening. We were grabbing other cryptocurrencies reserve, one being Bitcoin, of course. Of course, we were the second largest holder of Bitcoin prior to this happening, actually propping up the fucking market, if we really want to talk about it.
For real,
Uh,
potentially.
um, yeah, financially, and then you saw how much we propped it up once we dumped all our Bitcoin, and it
Right.
just immediately tanked the entire market.
I thought we were going
No one man
everything.
should have all that power.
Right. It was
But
scary.
it was just I don't know. I guess it was just really really interesting to see like folks like Fat Man coming out of the woodworks, really just kind of playing on the emotions of all these people who are in a really emotional and a fragile psychological state, and they're all just kind of following this rhetoric that he's pushing. I immediately muted him because I was like, I don't want to see any more of this bullshit.
He's like, so he started out, right? He started coming out with some, I mean, probably half decent ideas, right? He had this whole, so his big thing to claim, this big
Hmm.
like rise came from an Agora post where he was talking about a plan to create some sort of restitution from like the potential $1.5 billion of the Bitcoin were never sold, which we found out that they were sold. But then
Yeah,
after that, it just evolved into like conspiratorial level
yeah,
nonsense. And a lot of it, I mean, now I think he's just borderline on defamation. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to like act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, but I
hmm
think he himself, like, he's just being fed by people and he's just post it. It's like,
yeah.
dude, you can't do that.
Dude, exactly, man. Because and that's what I see. I see him as like the crypto Alex Jones at this
Right. He's certainly like he's called himself like this bringer of justice and that
point.
he's
Yeah.
gonna make people whole again. It's like, dude, even if you do have some slam dunk court case and you can
Hmm.
prove all of these crazy things that Do Kwon was in on it and Sam Bankman Fried was involved and
Hmm.
Jump Capital were all in collusion and it looks like the It's Always Sunny scene where the guy is looking at the poster with like all the charts linked in the dots. Um, it's just even if he has everything perfect and he nails it and they go to court and they somehow they win they win.
Yeah.
The thing is, people will still not be made whole because there will be legal fees. And at the end of the day, look at the Mount Gox case, which is very different. But and once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I probably can't speak too much in this domain. But just like from the observations of historical procedures and how this all plays out, like people will probably not be made whole, and if they do, it's going to take 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and it might be
Yeah.
like half their stack or at most. I just it's just so many unknowns.
Yeah. Because I mean, look, like we did get airdrop Luna 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and it is doing well as far as its pump. And I will say it does have upside potential in the fact that one TFL obviously is involved, and they know how to create amazing dApps. And then even beyond that, there are a bunch of different projects that have decided to bridge onto Terra 2.0 as well, like Stater, Valkyrie Protocol, Sigma, um, Mars Protocol. I think Mars actually is good on chain, so never mind on that.
Didn't Mars move off or something?
Yeah, I think they're building their own chain, which
Yeah.
is fire.
Yeah.
But I think Terra 2.0 has some ability to pump to maybe get to a certain sort of level. But the reason why Luna pumped in the first place is because of this whole notion of decentralized economy needs decentralized money. And then, of course, obviously, the tokenomics of burning Luna in order to mint UST. That is what made this thing pump. That is what made this thing tick. That is what made, the large community that it had. So I'm kind of iffy on it just because it doesn't have that anymore. Now it's just another chain, right? And so at that point, now it's going to be, how is it going to make this chain better than a Solana or an ADA, or a Polkadot, or something like that? Like, what is going to be the differentiating factor that makes this chain better than those? And I just don't know what that could be. I mean, it could be that we have, like, as far as developers are concerned, we probably have somewhere around the most developers, if not, other than Ethereum, obviously,
Right.
just among altcoins in general. So like that, could, I don't know, that could kind of be a factor because I kind of, in my mind, used to invest with that kind of factor in mind, which is where are the developers going? But also to that same kind of token, the developers are going on Luna because of the notion of decentralized economy needs decentralized money. And that's why all these developers are coming on. So I don't know. Terra 2.0, as far as me investing in it, I will put small portions of it just to expose myself to some sort of risk of it. But will I be a Luna Maxi? No.
Oh man. Were you a Luna? Or, nah, you were very,
Yeah.
very. Were you a Luna Maxi? Would you consider yourself one prior to the crash?
I basically was a Luna Maxi. I mean, I did have some Ethereum NFTs, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those haven't really done anything. So like, my money's just kind of gone with that. And then other than Luna, I do have. Also, I guess we can use this to bridge over to a newer topic because I did want to kind of talk about this specific cryptocurrency. So I do have virtual land.
Oh.
Um, yes,
Oh.
yes,
Wait, I
and
want to quickly just say something about Luna 2.0 as
oh
well.
yes,
Just your
yes, yes,
point
by
there
all means.
before we. No, so like once again, I said earlier, like I'm not touching this thing with like a 10-foot pole, or at least I'm not putting like capital in this thing for a while,
Mm-hmm.
personally, because it's like first off, you're right. What is the differentiating factor? And honestly, I think there actually is something there, and that's the fact that it's easy to use. It's just
Mm.
easy to use, and I've been using MetaMask as I like used throughout the year. But I mean, anything DeFi related, I was doing it all on Terra. Anything else I was doing was just I basically hold. And so having to use MetaMask and going through process of bridging tokens who might have been Terra alts that went multi-chain or whatever I was doing, just so obnoxious. And so
Mm.
all the UI and the interface and just as you're right, the developers, a lot of infrastructure is there. And so for me, that's what I'm keeping an eye on to see how much of
Mm.
that actually sticks around and how much value that actually brings. But I don't think even from like Do Kwon and the legal issues and all of that, even between that, it's just the fact that the market's not going to be able to like properly price this for at least a few months. So
Yeah.
it's just all speculative right now.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of speculation, have you gone onto like Luna Classic Twitter?
No, I
Oh
haven't.
God. Oh God.
Burn it all. Burn it.
Dude, literally. Burn
Burn
it.
it.
Lunk to $1. You're
Have you heard of
like,
LUNC
no, it's
DAO?
not. Lunk DAO yet. There's Lunk
Yeah.
DAO, there's Luna Classic Community. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, I don't like for it's actually kind of sad in my mind. all right, well, like what's happened to the chain that I completely fallen in love with? Now it's just completely been run over by a bunch of meme coiners.
I love it. I love it. It's such a
Like
dumpster
what?
fire.
It's an absolute dumpster fire, dude. Like I always go on Twitter and I see these Twitter spaces and it'll be like Luna Classic or whatever, and you know it's getting big. There's 200-300 people in this Twitter space, and then you go into the Twitter space. There's not one Luna PFP in there. I mean, well, Luna NFT PFP.
Right.
So I'm like, there's a completely wholly different community that is forming around LUNC.
LUNC. LUNC. Like, just take a second here. Don't look that up in Urban Dictionary is my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice. Don't. I mean, I'm holding it obviously, and I'll hop on the meme if the time's appropriate. But yeah, rest in peace that chain. I don't have any hopes there.
Yeah, rest in peace to it. I mean, there's no projects building onto it. It has no utility whatsoever, other than to be a meme coin. And
Burn.
you know,
Burn it all.
if it burn is its utility.
We
Apparently, it
just
just
burn it.
burns.
We burn it. We made a hole again. 6.5 trillion Luna.
Oh my god, straight Zimbabwe money now.
All right.
I will say this, you know, and before we switch over to
The virtual land. I need to hear about this virtual land, Breevie.
Yeah, virtual land is gonna be fire. So like we're gonna get into
right.
it. I got some shit pulled up. So I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. Fuck, we're gonna go straight to virtual land.
Okay. Rest in peace, Terra Luna.
Yeah.
Before the crash. Rest in peace, the glory days. We'll see if they ever come back. Who knows?
Yeah.
I keep an open mind.
Lunatics community is still strong though, so not rest in peace to that. We're still going strong.
We're still going strong.
We're still out there. We just don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about OVR, dude. So like I was saying, like I was a straight up Luna maxi. Basically, I would say 95% of my money is fucking Luna. So that's obliterated. That's gone now. So, but I do have this virtual land. So when I first started in cryptocurrency, I wasn't just a straight Luna maxi. I was, I don't know, just some dude learning about crypto, just wherever the fuck my mind went is where it went. And I stumbled across this thing. It's called OVR. OVR. And what it is it's a lot of different things. And for anyone out there, I'm going to start this off with go to your app store and download OVR, right? So that's one reason why it's amazing. We can just go to the app store and download it.
Wait, like, you know. V or B? O-V or?
V is in veterinarian.
Okay. V is in veterinarian, yeah.
O veterinarian R. Okay. Sound crazy. Anyway, so I did a bunch of research on it, and you come to find out that what they built is they put an entire virtual overlay over the entire world. And so what you can do is you can buy these plots of land that represent, wherever the fuck, blah, blah, blah in Russia, blah, blah, blah in China, or whatever. Here, I'm gonna share my screen too.
Yeah, go for it.
So OVR's made this virtual overlay over the entire world here, and that's what we're looking at here, this map of the entire world. So what I've done is I've bought a bunch of plots of land in Chicago, of course, is where I live. And what I did was I bought land that I believe would attract like a bunch of tourists. Tourists would probably be sliding onto that land. And what you can do with these lands is you can build AR experiences on them. So, and to kind of liken it to what it can mean, you can take this plot of land. So I have a bunch of land in Millennium Park. If someone goes to Millennium Park and I've created an experience there. They can load up that experience on their phone and check it out. So
Oh,
like
that's
just
cool.
to, yeah, bro, it's fire. And
That's neat.
just to kind of liken like what could this like kind of do? Let me show you this video real quick. So this is, obviously this person has bought some land like near their property, and they
Yeah, yeah.
built this whole kind of like
What?
club-like environment
What?
that that you can come in. Yeah. So,
So
and this
that
is like through their phone, right? So like you would be looking through your phone, or like what I'm thinking about in the future, dude. Like I own an Oculus.
yeah.
Um, you got one too?
No, but I mean I know where you're
Uh,
going with this. I know what the thought was with this.
yes, bro. So like imagine if someone can put the Oculus on. And for those who don't know what the Oculus is a virtual reality machine. You put it on, and essentially, like, it's the coolest thing in the world because you put that thing on. Have you ever tried it before?
I have not actually. I've used a
Really?
really rinky-dink one like 5 years ago, so I
Yeah.
haven't had the modern experience yet. But I've heard about
Hmm.
them, and I've just heard they're amazing. But keep going.
Dude, the modern experience is like something like it's amazing. So like to I'll tell you about my first experience with VR. So go over to my homie's crib. She's got a VR headset, and I put this thing on. She's loaded up. There's like a Planet Earth VR essentially. Um, and so you load this thing up, and like you put these goggles on, and for those of you who don't know, like what your eyes see is your world, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
let's get that out in the open. And so imagine if there is a screen so close to your eyes that that is what you see. So like right, that becomes your world.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally like Planet Earth gets to starting, and there's a drone scene where you're like they've obviously flown a drone over like some sort of place in Africa where there's like a bunch of animals and shit. It's got to be hundreds of feet in the air. And for me, like watching this through my vision, it literally it's me flying through the air. So
Yeah.
it's like me flying over Africa, just looking at all these animals. And so then they kind of land you on the ground, right? Again, that what you see through your eyes is your reality, basically. So this screen is so close to your face that whatever is shown on the screen is your reality. So now that I'm on the ground, they're filming these elephants. The elephant is like walking up to the cameraman, but in my from my perspective it's walking towards me, right?
Yeah.
Because like what the cameraman sees is my reality. So literally like I scream out to my homie like, does it know I'm here? Because it's walking up super curious. I'm like, oh shit, it's looking at me and shit.
Jesus, man. It's unbelievable like the level of realism
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that's
man, like
possible
it's
now.
and so like where my mind kind of goes is eventually with OVR reality is you buy these plots of land and people are able to load onto these plots of land and have full on experiences. Like for instance, if you download the app, there'll be a portion of it where you can do virtual land tourists. You can be a tourist in a virtual land that's created. And so you'll essentially load it up on your phone. It's AR, right? So you're looking through your phone, and then like let's say like you're in like a park. It'll be the park, but it'll also have all these. There might be a dragon fucking flying around, whatever the fuck you want to see. Um, but like that's the kind of experiences that can be built with this thing. I think this is going to be absolutely huge for tourism when people start because there's an app on there where you can essentially do a tour. You can tour like I think it's like a land in Egypt or something like that, and you can just like walk around it, look around.
Like the pyramids.
No, it wasn't the pyramids. It was like the Valley of something, something, something. I forgot
The
what.
Valley of the Pharaohs.
Something like that, yeah. And
The
you can
like
kind of go
quintessential.
around. There's little kiosks you can press on, and they'll give you information and shit. Um, but like what this is going to open up is, I mean, obviously this is like damn near beta now. Like, but like 5 years from now, when like they flushed out this technology, it's gonna be like insane. The other thing also that I want to talk about real quick about them is hold on real quick. This thing is distracting me now.
So like,
Is
especially with like, well,
mhm.
just going off of this, especially with like, you see the new. Sorry, hold on a second. The new Google glasses. Like, have you seen
Mhm.
those? And
Nah,
like
dude.
the idea of eyewear that's gonna be way more user. So like, you don't have to necessarily be a headset like that. But yeah, so those actually look like glasses, because the old ones look
Yeah.
terrible. But I think we're getting to a point where you can actually put on, Google glasses, Apple glasses, or something, whatever whoever comes out with like a good quality, not just an Oculus, but something that's like next step, and it's gonna be this whole experience where you're like literally you put these glasses on, and
Hmm.
if you want to go to your OVR world, like it'll just play that overlay right there,
Yep.
and it'll
Yep.
look like
Yep.
it's integrated. It'll look. I think that's one of the big aspects of the metaverse that I'm personally really
Yeah.
intrigued
Like
by and also
imagine
just bullish about.
like imagine when they get it, because obviously they're just gonna keep shrinking the shit smaller and smaller. Imagine when they're just contacts
Yeah,
and every single person in the world is wearing these things. There's no more phones because why? When I can just get a call in my mind and just answer it.
I mean, well,
Talk.
that's when things get a little scary there, but but like the
Di-
whole integration of like
uh,
of the headsets plus metaverse, I think that's gonna be so big, and I'm really it's interesting to see like the AR VR, OVR, what they're doing there. The whole idea
mhm.
of that is really intriguing.
Dude, you really gotta try out like VRing. Like if you type in VR in Google, I'm sure like there's some VR spots like near you. But in Chicago, we have this place called Mass VR, dude. So to kind of compare this, normal VR headset, wear the headset, and then you have like little, controllers. So if you want to move around in the virtual world, you move the controllers, and that's cool and all. But Mass VR has gone another step further, where they essentially have you in this very, very large like ballroom, like huge, like maybe like half of a football field big or some shit like that.
Hmm.
And they have all these tracking devices like in the walls and everything like that. You put on this backpack that has like a processor on it, and then you put on the Google, not the Google, but the
Oculus.
Octi, yeah, the VR helmet, and then you're given like just a gun. And again, yeah, well, what you see through your eyes is your reality. So like
Yeah.
your reality becomes you're transported to this virtual world that looks kind of like a Halo-esque kind of map, right? And
Right.
and you're going around and you're pointing your gun, you're shooting people and all that good shit. But like it's really crazy because you're walking around. So it
That's unbelievable. How do you like
yeah.
not run into people? I guess because you see
So they
them,
have
right?
this thing where it alerts you when someone's like around. So like they'll
Okay.
have like this like ghost character or whatever that'll pop up. So like you'll be able to see that someone's like right in front of you.
By the way, you got an ad playing on the screen right now. Or that's the Google glasses. My bad.
Yeah, that's the Google. I just wanted to
Okay.
show it like while we're
No,
like
it's
while
cool.
we're
Yeah,
talking.
no, that's the idea right there. And like imagine what your experience is. Instead of like just imagine being able to take out the headset altogether.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gonna be
Take
amazing.
that's gonna be amazing. And I know I got a little scary with the contacts, but and the hearing it in your mind.
And then it's going
But
in your
dude,
brain. and then and then you are a
do you
cyborg.
know about Neuralink?
Oh, of course. Elon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technology is literally already there to where I mean, this monkey's moved. Like I saw this video of the monkey being hooked up to the Neuralink, and it's playing Pong with its mind.
Pro gamer. Pro gamer. That's
Soon we'll have pro gamer monkeys all over the place.
it's something. It's a little. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I keep an open mind to all the tech. It's tough. It's tough in high and like looking at it in the future because everyone was always afraid of that kind of change.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's just coming so fast from like where
it
we
is.
were to like smartphones, and now we're going to glasses. Well, I bet you the glasses will replace phones altogether.
Yes,
I bet you that's
yes.
gonna happen.
That's for sure gonna happen, dude. It's a no-brainer. It's way smaller. That way we don't have like this big heavy thing in the pocket.
Right.
Like the kids who live in the time where they're finally the contacts aren't even gonna understand like why we have these blocks in our pants.
Like this is gonna be outdated and so outdated in 30 years. People
Yeah,
will look at it like we look at like car phones
yeah.
or
Car
landlines.
phones,
Right.
landlines, dude, fucking payphones.
Yeah. I've never even used one in my I've never used one in my whole entire life.
Yeah, they were finished when I was a youngin, so
Right.
like I never ever used one either. I mean, you would see them like for sure, and they still worked, but did I ever use one? No, because I had a fucking phone.
I had yeah, you had a cell phone, you had a flip phone, or just
Yeah,
so unnecessary at that point.
this generation isn't gonna know how satisfying it is to flip that fucking phone down and it hangs up.
Or I used to always just I used to have one with a keyboard that you could type on, so I remember flipping it up and
Yeah,
down, scrolling up and down. It's
yeah,
probably better than checking my iPhone every 5 minutes, to be honest. But you know, it
yeah.
couldn't do anything.
They can, dude. You just you could only talk to people, man. That's all it was for.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking, texting.
Well, these kids will probably never even know what like physical money really is. People who are born right now. I'm serious. You'll probably never even
Dude,
know
that's
what.
crazy.
They'll
Yeah.
never even. I remember I went to when I went to the first like sporting event after just because when everything started opening up again, like after COVID, the first time I went, this was like literally like a year and a half, probably since the beginning of the pandemic, at least maybe 2 years.
Mm.
Like the first in-person sporting event, I tried to hand cash, and this is like a major like sports stadium. I tried to hand cash to pay for food. They're like, no, 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 we don't do that here. Like what?
Yeah.
You don't take
And
cash?
that's becoming an increasing trend, dude. That happened to me where I went to a concert at this venue, and I lost my credit card a long time ago, but luckily I got Google Pay, so I just still am able to use it. So I
Yeah.
just whatever. This bitch been using it, but this is the one time I go to this concert and they're like, "No, we don't got Google Pay." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I had grabbed a bunch of cash too. I was like, oh, "Okay, cool. I'll just give you cash." They're like, "No, no, we don't do cash." I was like, "What? This only card?"
Well, yeah, it's so the whole idea of cash and everything's going paperless, and as you mentioned, we're going
Mhm.
to the AR. We're gonna see metaverse. I think metaverse is a bit of a fad right now. I do think like it's there, but I still think it has that like a few different barriers it needs to break down before it really
Yeah,
gets mainstream adoption. But you know,
yeah,
you mentioned these like VR places now opening up, and it's like, why would you run like a laser tag spot when you can just make one of those? You know, it seems to be way more efficient in that sense.
way more,
So
way more.
it's coming. It's coming. It's just we'll see. We'll see how quickly it all advances.
Yeah, man, and I'm really really excited for the future of it, man. Like as soon as I stepped into that very very big gymnasium and like was able to put the helmet on and walk around in a virtual reality world, I mean that was mind blowing, man. Because um, you've taken it that one step further to where it's like, oh, this is literally my reality. You almost kind of forget that you're in a game at that point
That's
because
weird. That is so bizarre.
yeah, like so to kind of compare it, my girlfriend went with me, and she's kind of afraid of heights, and so in the game there's two platforms, top platform and the bottom platform, and you can just walk off the platform to get down to the bottom. But
She
she
wouldn't
would
do it.
not walk off that shit. She was like, "No, I don't want to fall." I was like, "Don't worry, baby, you don't fall in real life."
Does it make you motion sick at all? Do you get any motion sickness issues with it?
No motion sickness issues, but like
Really?
when I did do the drop, like you definitely like feel it for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still because your brain's like, what is happening? It's we're still not once again we still have those barriers to break down, but we're getting close when
Yeah.
your body starts to really question like, is this real or is this fake?
Yeah, man. Like I can't wait to like in my VR headset, there's like these roller coasters that you can get on, VR roller
Hmm.
coasters. And I was like, man, what's gonna happen where they can simulate like the air Like
the feeling, the
yes.
smells, the sights.
The smells, the screams.
Welcome to the Matrix. We're all plugged in.
Dude, but for real, welcome to the Matrix.
Maybe it'll be like a nice maybe. I mean, because everyone's so dystopian. Whenever people think of the Matrix, everyone's so just dystopian about it. I mean, hopefully we get like utopian won't happen, but hopefully we get a nice middle ground where it's not
Yeah.
it's not all bad.
It's not all bad, man. You know, you're
Right.
just born and then you're immediately given like a VR contact and you're like hooked up to the system that automatically feeds you. But then
That's kind of dystopian.
but then you're trapped in this amazing virtual world that's infinite. Do whatever you want.
Yes, it's we'll see. We'll see when we get there, man. We still got those like few bumps in the road, I think, but
Yeah, yeah.
um and also honestly, I do think there's definitely some very like fad-ish aspects of the metaverse, and everyone
Yeah,
thought like
yeah.
this is the turning point for the metaverse. This was not the turning point for the metaverse. You saw like Decentraland take off. You saw a few of the other like quote
Hmm.
unquote metaverse games take off, and now look at their tokens, and it's just a bloodbath. Um, what does interest me though right now is
Hmm.
I was looking at this company because you mentioned virtual land earlier.
Hmm.
They take Minecraft servers and they basically tokenize them, and so you can, have
Sure.
land value into Minecraft servers, so they can then build. Because like the problem with a lot of these games, right, is that they're not that intuitive. You're not really familiar with them. Like
Yeah.
when I've played what's the one with like poker and blackjack.
Roblox.
No, 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 no. Well, like would be an example of like a good platform for a lot of this stuff.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
but like I think it was Decentraland, which I think has like the casino in it, right? And it's
Mm,
just
mm,
not a very
mm.
familiar platform. But like Minecraft, everyone knows Minecraft. Everyone's
Yeah.
played Minecraft, and so I feel like it's just a natural extension to make the push for like early stage metaverse land and projects and
Mm.
communities. I think the early stage like push should be on familiar platforms like Minecraft.
Yeah. That would be fun. Dude, and Minecraft does have a huge opportunity in that sense, right? Like if they
Mm-hmm.
were to decide to go all out and switch over to the metaverse, they would, and this is kind of crazy to think, like, so their demographic is obviously like the super duper youngins, like, like they're probably like the 16s, like, like Roblox and Minecraft to them is kind of like the Sims,
Mm-hmm.
like to us, like back in our day. Um,
Yeah, I grew up on
but
Minecraft. I was
Oh, you
like,
grew up on Minecraft?
I grew
I
up on
forgot you're a
Minecraft.
youngin' too, dude.
That was what I played from age 10 to 15. Like,
That's crazy. See,
yeah,
like that was like Sims to me. Like
yeah,
Sims was like my like virtual world or whatever. And like I would always kind of think, oh man, what if like I can like go over to my homie's house and like see what he's got building over there, like, and what if like because you have jobs and shit, like what if I
right.
go into my job and then I can go over to like my homie's crib over there, we can go to the bar, like this. I'm like, that's how my mind was kind of thinking with the Sims. But yeah, they do have an inch like Minecraft, Roblox, they do have interesting opportunity in that if they did decide to go full force into the metaverse, it would make it so that all these millions and millions of users that they have would immediately be introduced to the metaverse and be using the metaverse, like all the time, essentially.
So the beauty of Minecraft is that it's open source. So even
Yeah.
if
Oh, really?
Microsoft, yeah, so even because all the modding you can do and the
Mm,
multiplayer servers, it's
hmm.
all just JavaScript, which is really accessible, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
so if you wanted to use, I mean, you can easily integrate most blockchains because of that. And as a result, this is just any server that wants to integrate whatever sort of tokenization. I have a family friend who's done this, and
Hmm.
they own plots of land in Minecraft that is tokenized, so it's an NFT
Yeah.
form. So even if Microsoft doesn't necessarily even want to embrace it, like they can still be like, okay, like these servers can go ahead and embrace it and let the players decide. And there's something to that for sure. There's definitely something there with just the early stage. I think that is the golden ticket for early stage like successful metaverse communities.
It's so obvious. I feel like they're already doing it in the background.
Yeah. Oh, Microsoft for sure.
Yeah,
All
like
the big tech
it's
companies are.
yeah. As soon as Facebook changed their name to Meta, uh, I
The
think
ships.
that's when the tech
Yeah.
companies probably realized that the next tech race is for sure going to be the metaverse. And how can we build this thing? Because I mean, Microsoft, no, Microsoft is the only part of Google, but like obviously they're competitors in a way. And if Google is building these glasses, and Facebook is building out the Oculus, um, what is Microsoft building out right now? And I
Right.
think it's
Apple's got a real life like one-to-one replica of the world in AR being built. So
oh what
yeah.
what?
Yeah, dude. So Apple's got some skin in this game as well, and I think Nvidia's wanting to use Nvidia's trying to make like a big push to be like the powerhouse behind a lot of metaverse community. Like it's all there. Like you're right. It's all
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah. It's just it's gonna take time because this is a fundamental shift, not only in technology but in like psychology. Because like it's kind of like when, let's say, like our parents, they might not have really understood like social media.
Hmm.
Like our grandparents for sure were just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you go on a computer and you talk to someone, you just pick up the phone, right? That's their mindset because they're so used to using phones. And then you go another step further, and the mindset had to change when smartphones came out. Well, now at the palm of my hand, I have an infinite amount of technology and resources in order to gain information and knowledge. And we've seen how that has like changed the entire like world that we're living in right now. And I feel like that next kind of step are things like Google Glasses and things like the Oculus, to where now something that was a part of this phone, this little brick, is now a part of the like real world,
Yeah.
which is that's
Yeah.
a like an insane thing to even think about, honestly.
It's gonna take. There's gonna be growing pains along the way, and even then, like think of like us for example. We're gonna feel ancient when this stuff really
Yeah,
gets. But you got to embrace some of the change and find out
yeah.
how it benefits your life, and I guess use it to as a net gain rather than a negative. And I'm excited for it. I'm also terrified of it, and it's the same thing with digital currency, digital money. It's like everything. It's just we
Hmm.
don't know where it goes. Smart cars, smart infrastructure. Your Teslas, they're great. They can drive you around, but if somebody hacks into them, that's terrifying. Like they can start driving you around.
Yeah, dude,
So
exactly. So I don't know. Like we have a long way to go, but I think the future looks really bright for like where we're going in the technological space, and seeing this bridge from this outside thing, technology becoming like a part of us at
mhm.
this point. Like, will we become a part of the Matrix?
Find out next week. um,
Actually, you got anything else for us, my friend?
Nothing. I mean, I've just been doing a lot of research and writing on just
Yeah.
global economy at this point. So, I mean, a lot to say there. Just so much uncertainty in the world. I do think
Mm,
people. I think what's very interesting about this correction, like put Terra aside, because that was really a black swan
mhm,
for compared to like the rest of the market, because the markets are just in a general downtrend right now.
yeah.
I think that this is the first time we've ever seen. I think 1 in 4 market participants now are retail, and this is not just crypto. Like this is crypto. It's way higher, I think. But for like equities, for example, it's 1 in 4 are now retail participants. So
Mm,
I think we're seeing a lot more. Just we're figuring out what that means, and I think people are more they're making riskier moves, and they're taking a lot off the table. Like they're panicking,
mm,
and so how the question is like how much different is a retail investor from a seasoned or from like a traditional institutional investor or whatever.
mhm,
Um, and we don't know, but I do think that I think there's a lot of panic out there. I don't know how much of it's actually warranted, but I am surprised if a lot of the economic trends that people have been calling for like the Bitcoiners, for example. I do think we're a bit early, you know, not financial advice, whatever. I do think we're a bit early before we start seeing like monetary collapse. I still think we're in the later
Mm.
stages, but I don't think we're quite there yet. And so I think people think like now is the moment, and I kind of just generally disagree. But I'm just one opinion of many.
So like, as far as the market is concerned, like, what do you think about like where it's headed like right now? Because like obviously right now we're in a heavy bear market. But do you feel like it's going to be like one of those, historically, Bitcoin goes into bear markets for like 2, 3 years, right? Up until like the next halving.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be like that, dude? Or you think it'll
So
pump a little bit?
I'm not I'm not gonna make a claim on like crypto or equities or whatever because I generally don't know, but I'm very
Yeah.
surprised that people think we're in a bear market when we never had any sort of euphoria phase. I guess you had like the whole punch bowl from the March 2020 lows that was driven
Mm,
by just easy money in the system, but um, I'm just very surprised we never had like this blow off top that was epic and we went to $80,000 Bitcoin and everyone was cheering
yeah.
and you have a major crash. And so I am kind of in the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna rule that possibility out because I see people going so bullish to so bearish in such a rapid amount of time.
Yeah.
I think if some narratives line up, I think you could see mass euphoria, and that's when I'd be really nervous. But I'm just very surprised. I guess is where I'm at right now. I'm very surprised. Like I don't think it. I still think it's tough to say like we're in a bear market per se.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm not panicking, but I could also. I mean, I'm wrecked. I'm also just wrecked.
He said, I
So
mean, I'm right.
yeah, it's tough to say. There's just also a lot of just global uncertainty. You have the war in Ukraine. You have
Yeah.
European energy
Yeah.
crises. You have
Mm.
domestic shortages here in the United States. We're gonna have food problems around the globe. So I don't know how all this plays out. It's a little scary, but I'm just once again I'm very surprised at how early people are making like the apocalyptic calls when I'm just like it just doesn't make sense that we're quite there yet.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this the mother of all crashes. I just don't think we're there yet, and I'm really surprised that people have flipped so bullish to so bearish in like 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, you're right, man. Honestly, I mean, because technically, Bitcoin has only gone down about somewhere around 50% from its
Right.
from its top, right? So, like, I get it. Like, people are screaming, bullish versus bearish, and I mean, the 50% top kind of gives us hope in a sense, because I mean, if you're thinking historically, like bear market crashes, like that shit crashes like 80%, like.
Well, I mean, a lot of alts have been hit that hard. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like,
but
especially
Bitcoin,
like
yeah.
Luna's been hit hard.
Well, yeah. So the thing is, like, we're also looking at it from a lens of Luna, and so when you're able
Yeah,
to kind of extrapolate yourself from that viewpoint, which it took me a little bit, it took me at least a week to really get out of my head. It's like I just got to stop thinking about Luna and just look at the
yeah.
everything else, and it's like okay, like we're just basically in the same. It feels like May 2021 again. It feels like last year. It's just the same because it's the
Yeah.
same exact price action. We're
Mm.
back where we were. So if you told people in May of 2020 that Bitcoin would be $28,000, they'd probably be jumping for the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That was when
uh,
it was like, I think that's when it crashed. I remember when it crashed 20 to like 3 grand.
yeah,
I sat there looking at it and not truly understanding crypto really at all, or even how to get in. I knew nothing. And so I still even had the mindset that you had to buy a whole Bitcoin in order to get in.
oh
So
no,
I got my buddies together and I was like, we just have 3 grand. Like, what do you guys think? Like, each of us throw 1,000 and we get a whole one. And like, I kind of think back on that moment, like, what would have happened if I just had decided to do that, right?
I wish I was introduced into the Bitcoin cult. I genuinely wish
Yeah,
like I was introduced in the Bitcoin cult because if you're out of it, I mean not because I like the Bitcoin cult, but but just
yeah,
because like if you were in it, you could then understand the mindset and like the philosophy around it. If you're not in it, like you just don't get it.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like with like the lunatics. Like,
Right.
people truly did not understand this. Like, why are they so bullish on this Luna thing? So I get it. When you get into these echo chambers of oh, this is going to 10 million. This is going to, like you get into that echo chamber, every person within it that you're speaking to is saying the exact same thing and is giving all these stats and different things about why it's going to be this. It's kind of hard to take a step back out of that echo chamber and to get a little bit bearish on it, which, in hindsight, I wish I kind of did with Luna. But I think even if I did it, and I think I even tried doing that, like, a small a small little bit of it. But, like, even if I had fully done that, I still would have went all in on Luna, I think, just because, the tokenomics seemed completely sound.
Man, so good. It was so good. We were
Best
so
tokenomics.
So close to just.
We were so close. Like, maybe like if it had happened, if they had tried maybe a week after that, like we down there would have been untouchable.
When the 4-pool was integrated, man, I mean that was when it was fully. I mean they knew that was probably the last shot to really take a big hit at Terra before you'd have to have serious, hundreds of billions of dollars to really topple the thing.
Yeah.
But someone saw something there, and you can't hate the game. No,
you can't
hate the player. You gotta hate the game, and we're in the game, so.
Someone's gonna make a really fire documentary about this.
Oh yeah.
And this shit plays out like a fucking movie.
I just don't think the story's over yet either. I still think there's gonna be repercussions because of this, and we'll see what happens just around the world because of it. But it's unfortunate, once again, a lot of people got really hurt, and so it's tough. It's just tough to read and see that.
Yeah, it is tough, man. Going into like meetings and shit. Essentially it's just like a funeral. It was a really sad time. Me, I'm in COVID, so I'm dissociating with reality. So like it was even hard for me to even understand. Like every day I would wake up like new. It would be new to me. Like wake up like, oh yeah, that did happen. That happened for real. Then I look at it like, yeah, it happened.
That was not my worst nightmare. This is reality.
This is reality. But in these hard times, it's kind of good to just kind of see. So like I went to therapy for it and everything like that. And he said something really, really, really good to me. And he was like, you had to have a lot of good fortune to get to the point where, losing everything, where you lost that much. Yeah. And I was like, that's real. I'm like, I had a whole lot of good happen before that bad. I'm thankful for people like you, Rick, who, reached out and, kind of got my mind moving forward. That's why I was like, gotta leave Mighty Well Pod in the past. Like, it's more of like a symbolism kind of thing for me. Yeah. Because like Mighty Well just doesn't even feel real anymore. Like, I'm very, very happy that we're starting R&B, man. We're gonna take this thing to the moon, dude.
We're going with R&B, everyone. We're moving on, taking a side trip from the individual projects, teaming up. Also, I do have actually one more episode I need to publish for Lunatic Station. I felt bad that I haven't actually put it out yet because the guys at Gravidow spent some good time with me. But after that, we'll be all in R&B.
There it is, dude. Well, love to hear it, man. I think let's end it on that note, my friend, because I'm gonna go grab some Long John Silver's.
Very, very nice.
Yes, I'm eating real nasty.
He's looking really for this Long John Silver's, aren't you? You've had this on your mind.
Dude, I really am. Dude, they're gonna sponsor the pod at some point. Watch. I'm gonna keep shouting them out until they sponsor.
We're gonna get free dinners at Long John Silver as a part of this deal here.
I can't wait. But to the audience that is watching this, thank y'all so much. This has been RnBCrypto. We're for sure going to be coming out with with a new episode very, very soon for y'all. We don't really have like a schedule or anything yet, but we do have an interview with DeFi Jedi set up for next week. So that's going to be pretty fucking fire. Make sure you guys tune into that. Rick, can you tell them where to follow you at? All that good shit.
Yeah. Macro Perry on Twitter. It's my alt account that I talk about things. It's Perry the Platypus with a cigarette in his mouth. Cigar, sorry, cigar. He's classy. That's where you can find me.
He's classy. And you guys can follow me at Breevie Got Wrecked, and that is REKT, because I got fucking wrecked, y'all. This has been RnBCrypto, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're gonna see y'all next week.